After 42 years, 3 trilogies, cinema's greatest saga, the 4th of which my mum saw when she was only 11 back in 1977, comes to an end with episode 9. Star Wars, the Force will be with you always. Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker, written and directed once again by J.J. Abrams, writer and director of my once favourite Star Wars movie, The Force Awakens, and is the third and final episode of the Star Wars sequel trilogy, as well as the 9th and final episode in the SkyWalker saga of Star Wars, and is the 15th installment in the Star Wars saga overall. So, The Rise of Skywalker tells the story taking place 1 year after the events of Last Jedi, where Palpatine is back from the dead. He survived the Battle of Endor and has been kept hidden on Exegol, and it turns out that he was responsible for setting up the First Order and Snoke in the first place, and he commands Kylo to bring Rey to him, as she may be related to Palpatine in some way. And meanwhile, Rey and Finn and Poe and the Resistance are preparing to face the First Order once more, and in order to defeat Palpatine, they needed to search for a wayfinder and need the help of a dagger from a Sith assassin, which leads to a epic final battle that will determine the fate of the Star Wars galaxy and will conclude the Skywalker storyline in general. You know, back in 2012 when Disney and Kathleen Kennedy bought a Star Wars and it was announced we would get a sequel trilogy, and then 3 years later in 2015 everybody was absolutely raving about The Force Awakens like crazy. They were saying the magic is fully back, this is what the prequel should have been. But then The Last Jedi came along in 2017, and that movie divided the fandom so much, and it's damaged the franchise and its reputation so terribly, beyond belief, that it removed fans from the fandom. Ever since The Last Jedi, nobody has given a shit about the Star Wars sequel trilogy. And I have heard critics call The Rise of Skywalker the worst Star Wars movie ever made. It's destroyed the saga. We're so sorry, George Lucas. Please come back. Damn, and I thought The Last Jedi was hated and controversial. But this is sadly the most panned of the Star Wars episodes. And so this is going to be the hardest Star Wars movie for me to review, period. But Rise of Skywalker wouldn't have been this hated if only J.J. Abrams had directed the entire sequel trilogy. When you look at a trilogy like How to Train Your Dragon, the best trilogy ever made, that trilogy was written and directed consistently by Dean DeBlois the entire time. Never a change of director or screenwriter. That is how you do a trilogy. And even when J.J. Abrams, the man who started this trilogy, and now he thankfully gets to finish it. The fans still complain. Bringing J.J. Abrams back was the best decision Disney could have made. I'm not one of those haters that just purposely wants the Disney Star Wars to fail. I say Rise of Skywalker isn't the worst Star Wars movie as the haters are claiming it to be. I say it's the exact opposite and the best. This is a Star Wars movie, and it couldn't be a better and more satisfying conclusion to cinema's most landmark movie saga. And in terms of movies, this is a flawless conclusion to 2019 at the movies, and I wouldn't recommend any other movie this December over this one, trust me. This movie, it lets you know that this is it in terms of the Skywalker saga. Star Wars will still continue with its spin-offs, The Mandalorian on Disney Plus, for example, and maybe an Obi-Wan spin-off movie or two, but the Skywalker saga is done. So walking out of this movie, me and my family got all emotional. My family have been have adored Star Wars ever since it began 42 years ago. This was one of the most special movie events of our entire lives, and Rey, Daisy Ridley gives her greatest performance in the entire trilogy, and Rey finally receives Jedi training this time. Nobody can call her a Mary Sue after Rise of Skywalker. You fully buy her growth as a character. This movie thankfully retcons the worst things about The Last Jedi, like Finn and Rose's romance. Thankfully, it's no longer a love story between them. Rose is just a resistance member in this movie and not Finn's love interest, so that made me like her character better, and it made me like Finn's character better, and Poe Dameron, we finally get to see the three protagonists of the trilogy go on the journey together, which we didn't get in Force Awakens or Last Jedi, and we finally get to see the chemistry between them, and Poe does get more of a backstory. Where we meet Kerry Russell's character Zuri Bliss on this planet Zimi. She is sort of Poe's girlfriend, but I straight up freaking adore Zuri Bliss, and Kerry Russell is such an awesome actress, and she is long overdue to star in a Star Wars movie. Make a spin-off show on Disney Plus about Zuri. I would be the most regular viewer, and even Jana, she is the one on Endor that does help them get to the Wayfinder on the ruins of the second Death Star, and she does turn out to be one of the most total badass members of the Resistance. Unlike Last Jedi, Rise of Skywalker's new characters are so memorable, and Kylo Ren does go on a arc of redemption. I predicted he would turn back to the light in Last Jedi, but he begins as the new supreme leader of the First Order, and thankfully he does repair his helmet. And even the Knights of Ren finally make an appearance in this movie, and they have such a presence that will raise your adrenaline. and Kylo, he does realize that he has been Palpatine's puppets all this time, and the Reylo romance between him and Rey is resolved in such a tear-jerky way. you wouldn't think you would care about Kylo Ren. I thought he would be irredeemable at this point, but no. After this movie, Kylo, all is forgiven, and this movie does have more lightsaber fights than Force Awakens and Last Jedi combined. Especially the astonishingly epic lightsaber fight between Rey and Kylo Ren on the Death Star ruins in the middle of the raging ocean. That may be now my favourite lightsaber fight in the entire Star Wars saga. So awesome to have the original Lando Black, far better than Donald Glover's Lando in Solo, and Carrie Fisher gives her most emotional performance as Leia yet. And she gets to train Rey in the ways of the Force, as Leia turns out was once a Jedi who did train with Luke, and Luke does in one scene return as a Force ghost. So at least we get some of Luke in this movie. Every single member of the original team does make an appearance, even Han. I won't spoil how. This is easily the darkest of the Star Wars sequel trilogy and the entire saga. It has the highest body count of any Star Wars movie. So the finale vibes in this movie are off the scale, and it even goes deeper into the more of the origins of the Sith, which is what I didn't think it would do. It turns out to help them find the Wayfinder, they need this dagger from a Sith assassin, which 3PO needs to have his memory wiped in order to translate the text on the dagger. Oh boy, is that one of the most emotional scenes in the movie, when he's like, taking one last look at my friends. Anthony Daniels has been with this saga in each of the 9 episodes. He has a larger and more important role in this movie than he ever has before. And this movie contains the best Star Wars action sequences ever, and some of the best action sequences I've ever seen in any blockbuster. The truly mind-blowingly epic final showdown with Palpatine's Force Storm and mammoth fleet of Imperial Star Destroyers versus the Resistance. That's the final battle puts even the final battle of Avengers Endgame to shame. Please witness that final battle on the largest super screen in your local cinema, because it will leave such an impact on you. And yeah, the final fight with Rey, Kylo Ren, and Palpatine himself, that would be the best action scene in this entire movie. That's right, old Palps himself returns in style. I am the Star Wars saga. And this is totally Ian McDiarmid's finest hour. He hasn't played Palpatine in 14 years since Revenge of the Sith, and boy, does he come back with a tremendous bang. And I don't mind the decision to resurrect Palpatine and have him be the primary antagonist of the sequel trilogy all along, because J.J. Abrams initially planned Snoke to be that, but of course Rian Johnson didn't give a fuck about Snoke and erased Snoke from the plot, so you can't blame J.J. for bringing back Palpatine. What other option did he have? But it works. Palpatine has been in the Star Wars saga since the prequels and the originals, so it makes sense that he is the definitive Star Wars antagonist of the 9 episodes, and he is related to Rey somehow. I won't spoil how, but I thought that was initially just a fan theory all those years ago, but it turned out to be true. this movie realised that fan theories do matter and shouldn't be ignored. This is the longest Star Wars movie with a epic 2-hour and 35-minute runtime, and that's a flawless runtime. I absolutely love finales to be nice and long, and in that runtime it justifiably wraps up all the unanswered questions and every single microscopic detail. Thank you, JJ. And this is presumably the final soundtrack John Williams could ever compose for Star Wars, but this soundtrack was the icing on the freaking cake. I applaud you, Mr. Williams, for all of your dedication to this saga. And yeah, the Rise of Skywalker is the most perfect Star Wars movie that could ever be made. And it is my favourite of the 9 episodes of the Skywalker saga, and it's my favourite of the Star Wars movies, period. And it is easily in my top 5 favourite movies of 2019, and it's and it may be one of my favourites movies of all time. As I do rate Star Wars that high. It's I can't imagine cinema without Star Wars, and when you look at the legacy it's left and the impact it has made on cinema wouldn't be what it is today without Star Wars.
I give The Rise of Skywalker 5 stars out of 5. Best movie ever.
I finally reviewed all my most anticipated movies of 2019. Star Wars, you will be missed. Well, I love you guys. Thank you for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. And what are your thoughts on The Rise of Skywalker? Are you in the camp that loves it or hates it? So please comment and let me know. Please like this video and subscribe. Please follow on Twitter and on Instagram. And I'll see you next time when I rank the Star Wars saga from best to worst. And remember, movies are us. Bye, guys.